Moving through chapter 6, we're on lesson 6.7. Still within the algebra strand and relating multiplication and division problems together. We've been doing that the entire chapter, so we will see more of a connection as we go through the lesson. Our lesson objective today is using bar models and arrays to find related multiplication and division as inverse operations. So we've done bar models. Yesterday, or the lesson before this, we did arrays. And inverse operations was one of our new vocabulary words that we had at the beginning of the chapter. Our essential question, how can you use multiplication to divide? Again, make sure this is in the top of your mind so that you can journal about this at the end of the chapter. Figuring out how multiplication and division are related in their processes. Looking at our Common Core standard, we continue to work on understanding properties of multiplication and the relationships between the multiplication and the division, which is also a part of our essential question today. Looking at that vocabulary word of inverse operations, remember inverse is the same as opposites. Okay? It's the opposite operation or operations that can undo one another, such as addition and subtraction are inverse operations. So we've done multiplication. The inverse operation of multiplication is division. So that's what we're working on today. Remembering that inverse means opposites. Okay, problem of the day today. An aquarium has 346 fish. Another 433 fish are added to the aquarium. What is the best estimate of the total number of fish in the aquarium? So again, it wants the total. So we're going to look at this. Usually this is a multiple choice problem, so we're just going to solve it and then kind of round it to the nearest 100. So the aquarium has 346 fish to begin with, and then another 433 fish are added, meaning we're going to add to find the total, which also tells us to add. So we're going to start in our ones place. 3 plus 6 is 9. 4 plus 3, 7. Switch those around. 3 plus 4 is 7. So now, this is my actual number. So is 779 closer to 700, or is it closer to 800 to be the best estimate? Okay. The other thing we could have done is we could have added 350 plus 400 by estimating those. And again, figuring out, is that closer to 800 or is it closer to 700? Okay. So your answer would be, both of them are closer to 800 for our problem of the day. Diving into our lesson. We are starting on page 235, relate multiplication and division problems. Again, how can you use multiplication to divide? Pam went to the fair. She went on the same ride 6 times and used the same number of tickets each time. She used 18 tickets. How many tickets did she use each time she went on the ride? So what do we need to find? How many tickets she used. Each time. Okay. And it said to circle the numbers you use. I just always underline mine. You may do whichever one is easier for you to pick out those things when you are the problem solver. One way it wants us to use bar models. This was a few lessons ago where we learned that these can help us solve division problems. You can use bar models to help you understand how multiplication and division are related. Complete the bar model to show 18 tickets divided into 6 equal groups. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups. We have 18 tickets total. So we're just going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay? So you write the division problem of 18 divided by 6 this way, and then count how much is in each one. I have 3. There's 3. Remember, I told you to go back and just double count to make sure that you have the same number in each one of your division boxes. So 18 divided by 6 is 3. So Pam used 3 tickets each time she went on the ride. What if the problem said Pam went on the ride 6 times and used 3 tickets each time? So here's our 3, but she went 6 times. Complete the bar model to show 6 groups of 3 tickets. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 6 times 3 equals 18. These two are related using the same numbers, the 6, the 3, and 18. So multiplication and division are opposite operations or inverse operations. Okay? Here we divided, here we're multiplied. So to solve 18 divided by 6, we got 3. Think 6 times 3 equals 18. Since 6 times 3 equals 18, then 18 divided by 6 equals 3. It's the same thing we talked about in the previous lessons where I was asking you to go back and prove it and make sure that your answers made sense using the multiplication, the inverse operation, or the opposite. Another way you can do it is to use an array. We've practiced these. Again, if you want to use the tiles by your computer, you may do that, or you may draw them out. You can use an array to see how many multiplication and division are related. Show an array with 18 counters in 3 equal rows by completing the drawing. Okay, so here's my 3 rows. So we need to get to 18 with 3 equal rows. So here's my first row, my second row, and my third row. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18. How many counters are in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wrote them nice. I know that they're lined up. There are 6 counters in each row. So you would write that division problem 18 divided by 3 equals 6. The same array can be used to find the total numbers if you know that there are 3 rows with 6 counters in each row. So we made 3 rows with 6, which is the same as 3 times 6, which gives us the total number. Your product in this one would be 18. Your quotient in this one was 6. Okay. I think that this is pretty self-explanatory now that we've gone through all of the multiplication chapters and we have talked about arrays and bar models so much already. Use the array to complete the equation. So here's the array they gave you. Okay, think there are 3 counters in each row. Okay, so 6 divided by 2, you're making 2 groups. How many are in each group? 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Okay. You're going to do the same thing for 2, 3, and 4. You have 3 rows of how many? And then just think about using the fact families that we've done before. Okay? I would like you to complete this page at the end of this lesson. You will also be completing this page at the end of the lesson, getting to a few more problems on each page, but they should be getting easier because you've been practicing your multiplication facts, which are the opposite or the inverse of your division facts. So you will complete this page also on your own. Turning to the problem-solving page. We should be getting pretty good at these ones by now, too. Okay? So you're on page 238, and using the table for 22 through 23. Again, let's focus on the table together. The title of this is the Chonchase County Fair, and it's the price of admission. Okay? Then we have adults that cost $6, students that cost $3, and children 5 and under are free. Okay? So we're going to use that table to solve the first 2 problems. Mr. Jerome paid $24 for some students to get into the fair. How many students did Mr. Jerome pay for? So we're going to use our chart. Students are $3. So your problem is 24 divided by 3. You decide which process you are going to use to solve this. Are you going to act it out? Are you going to do a bar model? Or are you going to draw an array? Okay? And make sure that you label that as students. Number 23, Garrett is 8 years old, and he and his family are going to the county fair. What is the price for admission for Garrett, his 2 parents, and baby sister? There's a key word there. Okay? So, looking at the chart, I'm guessing that Garrett would be a student. So he equals $3. He's taking his 2 parents, which are adults, which are $6, and there's 2 of them. So 6 times 2. And then he's taking his baby sister, and she is free. Now it wants to know the total price. So you're going to take what Garrett cost, plus his parents' cost, plus his baby sister cost, and make sure that you label it with dollars. Number 24, there are 20 seats on the Wildcat ride. The number of seats in each car is the same. If there are 5 cars on the ride, how many seats are there in each car? Complete the bar model to show the problem, then answer the question. So we have 20 seats, 5 cars on the ride, and it wants to know how many seats are in each car. So we're starting with 20, and we are going to count out until we get to 20, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, here's our 5 cars. So we need to count until we get to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going until you get to 20, and then that'll tell you seats in each car. Okay, finish filling that out, please. Looking at the next one, pose a problem. So again, it wants you to be the writer of the problem now. How many days are there in 2 weeks? Write and solve a related word problem to represent the inverse operation. So we know that how many days are in 1 week equals 7 days. So it wants 2 weeks. So you're doubling your 7, which is 14 days. Okay. And then it wants you to write it into a problem. How many weeks are 14 days would be a real easy one to write with. Okay. And then your last one, there are 35 prizes in 5 equal rows. How many prizes are in each row? You decide which method you want to solve that with. Okay? So your job for this simple lesson is to complete the ones on this page. This is number 2 through 6. Going on to the next pages on your own. Finish the problem-solving pages on here. And then go back and reflect and think about your essential question. How can you use multiplication to divide? What did we do in order to get the answers to our division problems when we used multiplication? Okay, so journal page. And this is 6.7. Okay, and you're going to start with, I can use multiplication to divide, and then explain that. And give me a little example in a box. Then draw a line on your page. If you need to go to the next one, you can. And you're going to copy your math journal prompt onto there. Use examples to show that multiplication and division are inverse operations. So give me a couple of math problems and draw it out. Okay? 3 times 4 equals 12. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. And then give me drawing examples down there to make sure that you understand it. Okay? You have quite a bit of independent work on this one today. Let's make sure that we check those answers together to make sure that it makes sense and that you understand them. And then we will check your problem-solving pages. If you need to go back to review any of these lessons or the lessons before, make sure that you watch the previous videos on the website.